Good morning or good afternoon or good evening, depending on when you're watching this. My name is Michael Gomez, and I am the chair of Hispanic Studies. And this video is designed to give you a little idea of what we do in the department. So to help with that, I'm going to share a presentation, if all goes well. And we're Hispanic Studies, which is a broad term to describe many courses of study in our department, including business Spanish, Portuguese. We have an MED in languages, so we really are doing a lot. And I'm going to give you, like I said, the briefest of summaries. At the end, I'm going to put my contact information up, and please feel free to contact me via email. We can set up, if you desire, a Zoom or a phone conversation. At any rate, we are a huge department. You can see the numbers there. Second largest Spanish major program in the state, largest academic unit in the School of Languages, LACWA, and the sixth largest academic unit at the College of Charleston. We have 40 plus faculty from more than 10 countries. So we do a lot, and we do it well. If you look at the breakdown, who studies Spanish, what else do they study, you'll see that our majors are doing things in parallel. So we have over 70% are double majors in Spanish and then something else. And if you look down, you can see a number of different fields in which they're involved. Public health is an increasing area of interest for obvious reasons, given demographics. Communications, international studies, computer science as well is an area where we see a lot of doubling up. So we have a lot of majors, over 100 thereabouts. And in the minors, we're even more numerous, right? So we sort of fluctuate, but we're close to 300 students, which makes us the largest minor program at CFC, which is saying a lot, right? So, and again, if you look at what these minors are studying besides Spanish, you'll see business, of course, international business, biology, education, and other things that I did not put on that list. So there is a lot going on, and if you choose to study in Hispanic studies, you'll have a lot of company. So if you're looking into the reasons why we have such a broad base, I mean, certainly there is the language requirement, but that really doesn't explain why so many students decide to continue on with us, combine their majors and combine their minors. One might offer many explanations, but one would be just the fact that we're doing many things in many contexts. We work with the language, but the language applies itself, right? Whether you're working in business or whether you're working in health or whether you're working in education, there's a lot of pairings that go along with it. And our faculty, which I mentioned, are 45 thereabouts individuals, have a lot of expertise. And it permits us to give many different course offerings in areas that some you might expect and others you may not. And what I've done is just given you a quick summary of some of the things that we offer as far as courses go. We have cultural classes, which range from not the typical, but the ones you might expect: history here of Spain, foundations of Spain, but it goes far beyond this. We have classes coming up this fall, one on the Latin American Cold War and representations, art in that context, film. So if you're interested in history, in geopolitics, right, in the manifestations of politics on the world stage, there are classes for you. Here's my class on science fiction, shameless plug, which I'll be teaching this fall of 21. Right? So you can see that there are many different areas. This is a literature class. We have classes in LTSP is a class in English, classes in translation. So you can get into a sort of an area of interest, whether it's an author, and read those in translation. And this actually counts towards the Spanish major, which we can talk about if you're so inclined. Send me an email. Okay. And going through the list, there's a lot. We've had classes on mental health in Latin American literature. This is a great class, SPAN 316, which is applied Spanish for healthcare professionals, right? So here you can see how if you're studying, if you're in biology, if you're going into the health field, this puts it in a very practical sort of context in which you can learn these terminologies. We have another one coming up in fall of 21, which deals with the sort of the computer science linguistics, computational linguistics context. If you've ever used an Alexa or a Google device, smart speaker, the processing of language is there's a science behind it. There's a method behind it. So this class delves into that sort of how does language manifest itself in this natural language modeling or processing. So many different things to get involved with business, right? And I could do this all day long, but I won't. Besides Spanish, I mentioned that we have Portuguese, and we have a very dynamic Portuguese program. And it ranges from learning the language. And if you know Spanish, you can add Portuguese very easily. They're both Romance languages, right? But we have classes with literature and translation, and also classes in the language. On the topic of getting that Portuguese proficiency in an accelerated manner, we're going to be instituting this accelerated track of Port 150, which is a 6-credit class, and Port 250, which will be taught in the spring and the fall. On that rotation, the spring will be 250 and the fall will be 150, and it'll be an online face-to-face hybrid, right? So you'll meet in class 3 days and have asynchronous work 2 days of the week. And then before you know it, right, you've got, you can do it in an academic year, you can get up to that 202 intermediate level. So a lot of opportunities for those who want to take advantage of them. Study abroad is an incredible thing. Whether you go abroad with us or someone else in a different department, there are many opportunities, but we have programs in many parts of the world, and our students take advantage of it. And one of them is in Trujillo in Spain. So we have programs in the summer during Maymester. This was the 2020 program, which unfortunately did not go, but we will be back doing that. And we have a spring program as well. So if you want to go to Spain, we have opportunities and scholarships, right, to help out with that. Hispanic Studies has 3 scholarships, 2 related to study abroad and 1 to the Casa Hispana. So there are many opportunities, right? This is the Plaza in Trujillo, beautiful place. We also have focused programs on study abroad. This ran in the context of the program in Trujillo, but there were trips to La Bolsa, the stock exchange, and the classes were all very business focused, as you can see, right? 317 class in management. So this is another reason for our, I guess, our success or popularity, or whatever you'd like to call it. Buenos Aires, Argentina is another of our programs, and we do have a program in Chile, and as well as a program in Cuba, as you just saw. So there are many manners of getting yourself abroad and learning that language and learning the culture, and it is truly transformational. People who go it changes where they go in their life. It gives them more options. It gives them more perspective. Besides this, we have other opportunities for students. This is a new one. It's a virtual global internship, which the first one ran, well, this summer of 21. We had a student placed studying communications. So he was placed with an agency, I believe, a business in Argentina. So working from Charleston or perhaps New Jersey, but doing work in the language in his area of professional, future professional endeavor, right? So combining work in communications and knowledge of Spanish. So these internships can be done for credit in the major or the minor. So, and again, if you have questions, I would love to talk more about it. Let's see here. We have opportunities on campus. If you want to live in Charleston in a context where Latin Spanish is spoken regularly as part of the living environment, we have the Casa Hispana on Bull Street. It's in a historic Charleston home that we have invested a lot of time and money and expertise in. So you live with about 9 students who are Spanish majors or minors. And most recently, we have updated the house. And here you can see, I try to find a picture without masks, but they're being responsible, which is great. But they're using this media portal, which is, as you can see, the specs. We have an Apple TV, it's PC connected. It allows them to reach out to the world and converse, in this case, using Talk Abroad with someone who I believe was in Peru. I'm not sure on that. But next year, at 21, 22, we're going to expand the use of this portal, and students will be conversing with conversation partners in Chile. Who are related to our program partners in Santiago. So there are many, many different, if you want to speak in the language, if you want to use it, and you have many opportunities in class, outside of class. We have this very active Spanish club. And here are some older flyers, right? You see these are dated 2019, but these are the kind of things where we still do, and we were quite excited about language, cultures, world affairs, World Cultures Fair, which we did not have this past year, but we will have again, in which Hispanic studies plays a role. Besides the World Cultures Fair, we have Hispanic studies periodically, actually regularly, I should say, brings back our graduates working in different areas where they've gone on. Hallie Ritsu, who's also on our advisory board, went into the legal profession and recently gave a talk in this past March on how the language affected, right, how fluency in that culture affected her career choices. We've had other ones on global health, and we will have ones in the future. So this is a great opportunity for students to see, what happens when you get a degree in Spanish or Portuguese. How does it affect your sort of your life going forward, your professional decisions? And it's truly illuminating and impressive. I'll try to be brief here. I'll summarize, but we do so much more than teach language and culture, which is important. But we have, for example, lectures on campus, club activities. This was an international conference that we hosted this past spring, in which we had students and faculty from Chile, Charleston, United States, and Argentina participating. So we had 3 days, about 12 speakers. And this is the kind of thing that, if you're so inclined, you can present your research and get this experience. We plan on doing this again because it was a success, I think. So, to summarize, there's a lot of activities with the Portuguese club, with the Hispanic Latino club, right? We have honor societies to showcase our impressive students, right? And give them a chance to sort of to display what they have done in Spanish and Portuguese. And here's a few from this past year of 2019 who went on to get Fulbright winners. There were 4 in 2019, which is really, really impressive. So to summarize, if you are interested in Hispanic studies and Spanish and Portuguese, and anything which is related to it, I invite you to reach out to me, Michael Gomez, again, Chair of Hispanic Studies, and I can be reached at gomezm@cfc.edu. We can set up a meeting either face-to-face or via Zoom, and we can talk a bit about how do you get from when you come in with your language experience to a major or a minor, how do you get that Portuguese experience? So I hope that was informative. And I look forward to speaking with all of you and seeing you in the language classroom. Adios.